Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a chief analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report. Let me show you what is going on the markets. First, we need to see the calendar because we have some interesting figures there, interesting data. Overnight, we had Reserve Bank of Australia monetary policy statement. Australian dollar is weaker after the statement. Half an hour ago, we had GDP from Great Britain, which came here slightly worse than expectations, here in line with expectations. British pound is weaker right now, is having losses after this data. But the most important number today will be CPI, CPI from Eurozone, from US, and that should sort out the sentiment for the American dollar for the next week. As for now, we do have a very positive outlook on the American dollar. American dollar is doing great on most of the pairs, maybe apart from the American dollar to Japanese yen. But the situation on the dollar index, euro dollar, American dollar to Canadian dollar, for example, is great for the Americans, is great for the greenback, is great for the people who have American dollars in their portfolio. And it does not look like the situation is about to change. So this is the calendar, obviously, as we do have a Friday. So we need to see what is going to happen next week on Monday. Monday is very quiet as always, but we will have on Tuesday GDP from Eurozone, GDP from Germany, average earnings from UK, important for the pound. So definitely data important for the whole Europe. And on Tuesday also retail sales in industrial production from China, important for the Australian dollar. On Wednesday, inflation from Great Britain, so important for the pound, and retail sales from US, important for the American dollar. On Thursday, job data from Australia, important for the Australian dollar, retail sales from UK, important for the British pound. And on Friday, inflation from Eurozone, inflation from Canada. So definitely next week's calendar will be busy, and we shouldn't complain about the lack of the events in the calendar because the calendar is packed. That being said, let's move to the charts. And on the charts, what do we have here is American dollar to Japanese yen. I start with this instrument. I told you that there is a strength of the American dollar which cannot be seen here because the Japanese yen is strong at the same time. What we are having here is the price fighting on this pink support and the upper line of the symmetric triangle pattern. So here, and that is actually the last support for the buyers. Once the price will close below, that will be a sell signal because we already broke the uptrend line here, as you can see. This inverse potential order formation is denied and the price is heading lower. As for now, this pink area is defended, but the real buy signal will be triggered only when the price will come back, will defend this pink line, break this red line, and come back above this blue line and come back above this green line. So we have three resistances ahead: red, blue, and green, and we do have one support below, so pink one. The price usually goes with the path of the least resistance. So with this, with three resistances and one support, with this we can see that the price should continue to go lower. Euro to Australian dollar. Here I had a position which was on break-even point, somewhere here. So I closed my position on break-even point. At some point it was 1-to-1, so I sold probably here, my stop loss was here, I had this profit, but the price reversed. Okay, fair enough. I cannot do nothing with that. As you can see, I marked the support before, so it was expected that the price will bounce here. I thought that the bounce would be smaller, but also at the same time we have to test the broken support as a resistance. So I'm gonna look for selling opportunities on this pink line. That can be an interesting selling opportunity. We'll see if it is going to happen. And we can also mark this resistance here, so maybe the price will respect this line here. So what we are seeing here is a breakout of the support, then a bounce from another support, and maybe we will have a bounce from this area. Price creating a bearish reversal pattern on this resistance will be a strong sell signal on euro to Australian dollar. Now Swiss franc to Japanese yen, where I also closed my position on break-even point, actually somewhere here, because I sold here. And then it was on a nice profit. The price broke this downtrend line. Unexpectedly, the reversal was quite strong. So my position was closed here on daily chart. Now we are drawing a hammer, which is positive. So I'm not crying about this because with this reversal, maybe we'll see price aiming higher. Anyway, I will wait for the situation to develop. We'll see what is going to happen. As for now, the buyers are trying to draw a triple bottom formation, and we'll see what is going to happen. My short trade was based mostly on the weekly chart, on these two shooting stars. As you can see, this week is negative, but we'll see how this week will end. I was thinking about a bigger drop here. It's not happening, so maybe the price does not want to go down. With this daily candle, I wouldn't enter with a short position here anymore. Now euro dollar. This is a beautiful situation, and I really regret. Well, there should be no regrets on the market, because regrets don't give you anything good. Because when you regret something, you try to chase the situation, and I don't want to do this. Nice drop from the horizontal resistance, downswing breakout of the lower line of the symmetric triangle, then a contact with the long-term neckline here, a bounce. That's a very technical movement, and I was telling you about this yesterday. So a bounce, the price reached 38.2 Fibo, created a head and shoulder pattern, broke the lower line of this pattern, and that's a beautiful head and shoulder pattern. Aimed for the neckline again, small bump, and boom. Many stop loss orders were activated here. All the buyers had stop loss orders below the neckline. They got activated. Now, as you can see, the buyers are trying to catch a breath, long tails here, which may initiate a reversal. But in general, the price, I'm gonna wait for the price to come back to this line to test it as a resistance, and then I will try to open a short position, because this short position can be an excellent trading opportunity. American dollar to Canadian dollar, long-term uptrend line since the February here. There is a symmetric triangle pattern. Not symmetric, there is a wedge pattern, I'm sorry. A breakout of the upper line of the wedge, then a flag, and we should see a continuation of this upswing. But for the proper signal, I was waiting for the price to close above this 131 horizontal support, and the price is closed above this. That is a buy signal. Stronger buy signal will be created once the price will break the blue line, but that's good for a start. Long-term upswing, wedge, upswing correction. We should see a further upswing here. That can be an interesting buying opportunity on the American dollar to Canadian dollar. And let me show you the dollar index, how the dollar index behave, because it's a interesting situation. So on dollar index, there is an upswing, there is ascending triangle pattern. We have a horizontal resistance, we have a dynamic support. That's an ascending triangle, in theory ascending triangle results with a further upswing. Before the upswing, the price created even a small pennant, broke the upper line of the pennant, broke the upper line of the triangle, tested that as a support, and then another upswing. So that is a proper buy signal. Maybe we'll have a small reversal in the short term. So small reversal is expected in the short term, but eventually the price should continue to go higher. The price should continue to go up. New Zealand dollar to American dollar, broken lower line of the symmetric triangle, broken horizontal support here, boom, strong drop. Yesterday I was thinking that it's a bit too late to open a short position, but as you can see, the price was going down without any reversal. We met first dynamic support here, there's another dynamic support here, downswing correction. We should see a further downswing, like a very strong drop. Gold, that was expected. That price bounced from this horizontal resistance and should break the lower line of the triangle and aim for the horizontal support. The price aimed for the horizontal support and is bouncing. Now that may be a start of a reversal on gold. Obviously the situation on gold is very bearish still, but the comeback above the blue area will be a buy signal. Why? Because we will have a bounce from this horizontal support, but also that will be a false breakout from the symmetric triangle. The symmetric triangle will be denied, so the denial of the pattern is a signal to go to the to open a position in the opposite direction, and a breakout of the horizontal resistance would be a signal to go long. So that will be an interesting occasion to buy gold. Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar reached upper line of the triangle, as you can see here. That initiated the reversal. The sentiment is still positive. Maybe sellers will try to test the recent resistance as a support and then climb higher. So maybe they're gonna try something like this. So a short-term sentiment on Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar is negative, but the long-term sentiment is positive. Euro, and it's very common for every instrument, almost every instrument here, right now. As you can see, many instruments are having huge movements and then small reversals, but those reversals should eventually end, and we should come back to those movements. Euro to New Zealand dollar, upswing, wedge, upswing, correction. We should see a further upswing. The correction is not in a random place, it's a horizontal resistance, so maybe a small step back, one step back to make two steps forward. Boom, boom. New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar found a strong support, horizontal one. Maybe we'll get a small upswing initiated by this hammer upswing, and then most possibly a bearish breakout. So this is the horizontal, the dynamic resistance. What we may be seeing here is a bounce, contact with this resistance, and a downswing. Silver is having a symmetric triangle pattern still. The lower line of this pattern was met. That can be an invitation for an upswing. The buy signal on the silver will be triggered when the price will come back above the yellow area, which for now is less likely to happen, but it would be interesting to see the comeback above the yellow area, because that would be a nice buy signal for the silver. Situation on the silver is a bit better than on gold, actually, and Bitcoin. So yesterday we had a bounce on Bitcoin, we had a bounce on most of the altcoins, but that was just in my opinion, that was just a falling knife. I don't think that traders should follow this signal. That was, in my opinion, just a dead cat bounce. And sellers are showing this right now. Many altcoins yesterday were climbing 2 digits, like 19%, 12%. But that was not a sign for a reversal. I hope that none of you got caught in that if you trade on the crypto market, because there are no signs for a reversal. It looks like Bitcoin will be heading towards the $5,700 again, and we will see what is going to happen there. And oil with a stronger dollar is struggling because we just made new midterm lows. We're on the lowest levels since the end of June. Buyers are trying to create a hammer here, but the price closing above the blue area will be a strong sell signal. And actually we need to adjust it properly like this. So they are trying to hold above this blue area by drawing a hammer, but another bullish wave on the American dollar can be catastrophic for the oil, and the price can decline further. So let me recap this for you. American dollar to Japanese yen, price getting to the checkpoint is a buy signal. Euro to Australian dollar, price getting here to this area and drawing a reversal pattern is a nice sell signal. Swiss franc to Japanese yen, short-term buy, long-term sell still. Euro dollar is as you can see, buyers are extending their correction, so short-term buy, long-term sell. American dollar, that's rather a buy. Dollar index, short-term sell, long-term buy. New Zealand dollar, long-term sell. Gold, I would go with a short-term long position, and once we'll get this, we'll get a long-term long position. Mid-term, I'm sorry. Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar, that's a short-term sell, long-term buy. The same goes with Euro to New Zealand dollar, short-term sell, long-term buy. New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar, short-term buy, long-term sell. Silver, unknown. Bitcoin, sell. Oil, short-term buy, long-term sell. So Friday is a day where we do have corrections of the main movements. And in order to jump into those movements, you should wait for the end of those corrections. Let me show you how the indices are performing today. That does not look good. Maybe it's not a major reversal pattern, but this is a gravestone doji. It may be a shooting star. That can be a double top formation here. And maybe it will be better on H4 chart. That can be a false breakout here. But I think that the sell signal on indexes will be triggered once the price will break this line. We might be thinking of a bigger reversal on stocks. FTSE nothing. DAX. On DAX we may be seeing the head and shoulder pattern. Left shoulder, head, and the right shoulder. The thing is that we are on the neckline right now. Price closing below the neckline will be a sell signal on DAX. Potential target for this drop is here, but we may be going significantly lower if you consider this as a head and shoulder pattern. Left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder. That's an interesting situation, so I'm gonna leave DAX here. S&P, FTSE, okay. Let's also check the situation on British pound, because I don't have any pair with British pound right now. And maybe euro to British pound. But unfortunately, most recently we didn't get any interesting trading occasion here, but there is one, because you may see this horizontal resistance here. This horizontal resistance got broken 3 days ago. Now it's being tested as a support, and this support was defended with a nice V-shaped reversal. And if you believe in candles with such a long tail, that is a good invitation for a buy order. The thing is that we are very close to the major resistance as well. Situation, I don't like the situation here. This euro to British pound is a very choppy market. That's not the best situation to trade, but maybe also we do have a correction equality pattern. Let's check. Yes, we do have a correction equality pattern. Let me check if this one is also, yes. And this one, no, this one no, but this one yes. Almost. It's not a pharmacy. So as you can see, this correction is 90 pips. This one is 92, and this one is 95. We have a correction equality pattern. On the can we draw a nice uptrend line here? I think that is our trend line. So the sentiment is positive on euro to British pound. For me, it's not enough for open a long position, especially when I see this. But maybe double bottom formation can be an interesting buying opportunity. Let me check euro to Japanese yen. That's a heavy drop, but without a signal. British pound to American dollar, heavy drop. British pound, New Zealand dollar. Oh, that's interesting. That's a symmetric triangle pattern. Here, bounce again from the important support. Okay. This can be quite interesting in the long term. We have a battle of two weak currencies. Which one will be weaker? I would go for the breakout of the lower line of this formation, because it looks better from the technical point of view, but we will see what is going to happen here. Let's check euro to Swiss franc. Head and shoulder pattern. Left shoulder head and right shoulder on a weekly chart too. Well, nothing good can come out of this, really. That is a proper sell signal. It's hard to say where the neckline is because of that drop. But that is a good selling opportunity indeed. Like price getting in here, stop loss quite high, 400 pips. But the potential to take profit on 700 pips, maybe not the best risk to reward ratio, but it looks promising. Maybe you can wait for the comeback and then a drop. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching Trading Sniper videos, daily analytical report. I'm sorry, as you can see, we do have interesting movements on the market. Most probably those main movements will be continued in the nearest future after the corrections that we are seeing right now. So maybe it's a good idea to use those corrections to enter in the direction of the main movement. We'll see how the situation will develop next week. Thanks very much for watching daily analytical report. All the best for you guys, and see you next week.